on a beautiful downtown waterproof British Columbia, Canada. Tonight's show, filmed live before a studio audience here in the historic Langham Theatre, features the Mayor of Waterproof, Marion MacPhail, resident genius Clarence Wright, ecstatic dance therapy movement guru Captain Moonbeam, the world's most unlucky but brave man, Mark Jennings Bates, and God's gift to Shakespeare himself, Finworth Frederick Rowanson III. I know! With special musical guests, Waltraud Wanderlust and Avita Nevada. And featuring the best live night house band north of the ferry crossing at Balfour, the fabulous Polysonic Tonic! And me, your announcer, Max Morgenstein. And now, with bated breath and no further ado, the star of the show and host of hosts, the one, the only, Link LaFleur!
You guys are wild things. You make my heart sing.
I've heard that before somewhere.
Just shut up and play that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is fabulous to be here tonight in the historic Langham Theatre in beautiful downtown Waterproof. I can't tell you what this evening means to me. As I'm sure is the case with many of you, I grew up with late night television talk shows. In many ways, my parents abandoned me to the likes of Jack Parr, Johnny Carson. Some of you are nodding, right? They formed the amazing adult that I've become today. And so it has been my dream for a very, very long time to do what I am blessed to be doing before you this evening. That's right, coming into your living rooms, to come into your darkened, dope-smelling rec rooms, and to share with you some wit and wisdom, not from New York City for a change, not from London for a little bit of a change, and not even from Toronto, but no, from waterproof British Columbia, population, well, I'm not sure what the population is, but I know it's not much. We're going to have the mayor on in a bit, and she'll fill us in, I know. But I can be very certain in telling you that this is the first time in television history, not simply in the great true north, strong and free, Canada, but in the world, that a late night television talk show has ever come out of a place as remote, as small, as benighted, as totally forgotten as waterproof British Columbia. Very, very exciting. And speaking of excitement, to say that I'm excited about our lineup tonight would be akin to Vladimir Putin sharing with us that he's fond of bare-chested horseback riding. Or Justin Trudeau sharing with us that he's in love with his hair. By the way, Max, I know you would agree that, in fact, our Prime Minister does have bitchin' hair. In fact, I would go so far as to say, Max, he has the finest hair of all the G7 leaders.
That's the only thing that I would agree with you on that one.
Thank you, Max. Thank you very much. Well, normally a show like this requires a crew of at least 100 people. Seriously, it does. And a budget per episode in the 7 figures. Well, suffice it to say, we're not quite living up to those standards. And in fact, tonight's show, I have to say, is made possible by the generosity and hard work of, first of all, the Waterproof Chamber of Commerce, which is headed by our mayor, by the way, who you're going to meet in a moment, by Columbia Basin Trust, and for all of you out there in television land who are watching from Portland, Seattle, Spokane, every time you flip a light switch, every time you plug in your iPhone 14 Pro, ka-ching up here. Thank you. Right? Let's thank our American customers. Thank you. And so all that do, re, mi flows to Columbia Basin Trust, and they have blessed us with $150. To make tonight's show possible, which has resulted in the fact that, as you may have noticed, Max and I are standing rather still. If I were to walk another foot over this line, all of you watching at home would see my midriff. We have a budget that allows us to afford one camera with one lens. Lighting and sound are handled by the Langham janitor. I think that's right, Max. Correct? Yeah. And most importantly, we have, as Janet suggested at the outset, absolutely no more than 90 minutes to polish this sucker off before Waterproof Brownie Troop 322 comes in for its annual early spring sleepover here in the Langham. And trust me, when those chicks walk in, the lights go out. So, with no further ado, let's get this show rolling. Max, come on over here, buddy. Come on over.
Stay low.
So, Max, I know we haven't rehearsed this. Well, we haven't rehearsed anything, in fact. I know it's hard to believe, right? But it's true. No rehearsals. So, Max, I wanted to share with the folks here in the studio audience and all of you folks at home a little bit about you. I know that you're a bit of a shy, reclusive guy, but there's more to you than meets the public eye, Max. So if you don't mind, would you be comfortable with me sharing a bit of your bio with the folks here?
A little bit embarrassed, but by all means.
Okay, thanks, Max. That's really, you're a Mitch. That's big of you. So Max was born in Israel, actually, the son of a Tel Aviv used car salesman. And things didn't go well for the family, I think it's safe to say, in Tel Aviv, Max, which is why Max and his family ended up at a kibbutz in the Negev. And Max, as you can see, is a rather fairly complected guy, and so life in the Negev was hell for him. So at a very early age, Max has shared with me, he longed for another cooler place. And then that fateful year of your 13th birthday, right after your bar mitzvah, I think, right? Max discovered a television show that featured, as you put it, I believe, Max, boatalicious babes from Boulder. And so he began dreaming of emigrating to Colorado. Max is a many-talented guy, as you're going to discover this evening, but he does have at least one weakness, Max, if you don't mind me sharing with the folks. He's geographically challenged. So when Max emigrated to Colorado, he ended up in New Denver, British Columbia. That's right. And so to just cut to the chase, let's come right forward to the present time. It wasn't long ago I found myself at the Waterproof Hotel late one Friday night. My friends and I had just finished a pitchered beer and a giant plate of nachos. And so I went into the washroom and did what one does after a large plate of nachos at the Waterproof Hotel. And as I was coming out of the stall to wash my hands, there stood a striking figure at the wash basin, staring into the slightly broken mirror, conducting one of the most moving, engaging monologues with oneself I've ever borne witness to. And Max, it was you. And in that very moment, I said to myself, if I ever am blessed to have my very own late night talk show, this man has to be my trusty sidekick. And here we are, Max. What we focus on does materialize. Here you are.
You know what I was talking about there?
That's
in
great, Max.
front
Why
of
don't
the
you
mirror
move
and-
over there? Move over. We've got to get the show going. So that's Max. Max Morgan.